We are back with another installment of the Warheads broadcast. I am Apocalypto Joe.
I'm Roscoe. How y'all doing?
And as usual, we're going in on these topics. Today, I wanted to talk to you about something that I feel like is going on in society today.
Okay.
I ran across this picture on social media, and it's of a mom, and she's saying, and the boy, he's in his adolescence. He's looking at his mom. She's like, "Stop!" with exclamation marks.
Right.
I can give you something to cry about. Boys and men do not cry. Years later, he's with his wife, and she's asking the question, why can't you just show a tiny bit of emotion? This is very, like, it doesn't deal with me. Me and my mom had a very excellent relationship, but at the same time, I know a lot of men struggle with opening up. We live in a society that a lot of times, even if a man does open up to his woman, she kind of punishes him for that. A lot of times the wife is like the mom. But I wanted to get your take on this picture, and then I want to share something else.
Oh, well, my take on this picture is, it just tells a tale about how we're trained to not show emotion, of course, and then at some point, we're asked to show something that's been repressed, that's been suppressed, and that's been we've been taught not to show and express. So that's pretty much what this picture kind of tells. But overall, when I think about this kind of stuff, I think about how there's a lot of engines out there that try to push fragility onto our males in particular, so it's funny because I was kind of reading some stuff that was kind of about the Willie Lynch stuff, and it just talked about how women taught their boys when they had boys and girls, they kind of taught them reverse roles. So they taught their boys to be not so masculine and to not be emotional just so they could survive, basically, and some of those habits have kind of carried on in a negative way. But there's a lot of that happening, basically, just a lot of bad parenting habits that have been carried on from like way back, in my opinion. So
yeah, I agree. And it's funny that you did mention Willie Lynch, because these issues, as much as we try to look at them as being isolated in our community, they are holdovers from slavery, Jim Crow, the abuse that we suffered at the hands of during chattel slavery at the hands, and I hate to say this, but the European white man. Just to be frank.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. The thing of it is that it's not, these things don't happen in a vacuum. There's a societal issue that needs to be addressed, and it takes courage to address it. That being said, I want to share a video with you in our audience. So check this out.
You need to tell me what man you're using to measure him with. Which one?
My idea.
Which is your idea. Now, is that the idea you trained him up to be?
No.
Oh. So how in the blazing bejesus are you holding him accountable to a standard that you didn't teach him, his father didn't give him, he don't even know what it is, and yet as his mother, you sit in his face and tell him you don't respect him as a man. Tell me how that works. Help me.
Like I said, it was events. It wasn't just.
I'm talking
And
about
it's
one
also
thing.
how he treats me.
Yeah, but
He doesn't respect me
hello.
as a mom, and so-
You see, you are a provocative victim. You provoke stuff, and then when you start being held accountable for it, then you start twisting and turning and making the other person wrong. Look at me, Ma. Look at me. Look at me. You just sat here and told your son, who ain't got a needle in his arm, who I'm assuming pays his own rent. He's married to a registered nurse. He's got 3 baby boys. And you just sat here in his face and said, I don't respect him as a man. And you don't think to consider what that does to his heart, to his soul, to his spirit.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. But it just lands to some other literature that I kind of came across again about just how these women are teaching they're teaching our sons just the worst habits. And really the literature kind of spoke about how parents are not making, like how we're not making our sons suitable mates for women and vice versa. So when we're parenting, are we mindful of that fact? Are we really raising sons and daughters who are going to be ideal helpmates when it's
Right.
all said and done? So yeah, it's hard to build those kind of things when you build these emotionally crippled creatures. So yeah, it's a sad thing that goes on like crazy, not just in our culture, but just in general. So yeah, I think the main thing that we want people to take from this is to just be mindful of the fact that you want to be able to build up your sons and daughters to be strong emotionally, but to not deal in situations and deal with their everyday and mostly emotion. Let's deal with a rational mind. So yeah, you can do that. Emotion is good for some things. You want to have emotion, but yeah, you want to check emotion when you can, because most situations you're going to want to use a rational mind instead of an emotional state. So pretty much my take on it.
I agree. I'll take it back to the 80s. Ed OG and the Bulldogs, when Ed OG was like, be a father to your child. Well, sometimes you got to be a mother to your child too. And
Yes,
what a lot
indeed.
of women don't understand is the mom has a great impact on their child, especially their male sons. And as you can see from the video in connection with the photo that we had, this young man, he was doing everything that a man should be doing. He had a family, had a wife, he's working, he's not on the streets, he's not causing chaos in the world, shooting everything up and spray painting. He's being a responsible young man. And the thing that I found to be ironic is she didn't even know what her ideal man was. How do you sit up here and tell your son he's not a man, but you don't even have an idea of what a man is? Really? Really? And so it takes nurturing to raise both sons and daughters. Mothers and fathers have to remove ego from the equation. Maybe he reminded her of his father, and that's why she was disappointed. This is all speculation. The only point that I'm trying to say is enter every action when you're dealing with your child with love, not overindulgence, not gifts and prizes and toys, but love, true, sincere love from the heart, a self sacrificing love on top of that, wanting better for your child, but also willing to see them work for the things that they want in life instead of just giving, giving, giving. When you indulge a child, you spoil them. And if you look up Webster's definition of what spoiled means, it means unfit for human consumption. At any rate, I don't know anything. These are just our opinions. Did you have anything to say before we go?
I just want to give some shout outs, man. Again, let's shout out my girl Pokey Poo, my homegirl Aisha. You know what I mean? I want to say what's up to my homegirl Toya. What's up, Toya? We need to talk. I'm gonna holler at you real soon. Don't worry about it. I know I've been a shit about that, but I'm gonna holler at you. And that's pretty much it.
Good looking out, people. At any rate, that's the Warheads broadcast for the day. We out.